Division, shorthand, 2 digits divided by 1 digit. What is it? Distributing a group of things equally. Why? Helps with designing, can help in dividing equal shares if there's a pile of candy. Interesting fact, babies have around 100 more bones than adults. Let's talk about the vocabulary. 24 divided by 2 is 12. 24 is the dividend because that's what you're dividing into. 2 is the divisor because that is what you're dividing by. 12 is the quotient because that is the answer. Now, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you already have the symbol written out for you and the numbers in the correct spot. Quotient goes on top, which is 12. Your dividend goes underneath the bar, which is 24. And your divisor goes on the left, which is 2. Now, let's look at the steps in order to do shorthand. Step 1, write down this multiples. Step 2, draw your long division symbol. Step 3, put down the dividend under the symbol. Step 4, put the divisor to the left. Step 5, find your quotient. So there are going to be 5 examples. Each one's going to be a little bit different than the last. So let's go ahead and get started with example 1, which is what is 24 divided by 3? Let's go ahead and write down the multiples of 3, which is step 1. And there you go. We're going to do step 2, 3, and 4 now. And then now we're going to do step 5, which is find your quotient. So we're going to take a look at 2 first. And since there's no multiple of 2 from 3, therefore we have to look at 24. Now, if you don't know, take a guess. Okay, it's not a big deal if you get it wrong. So let's go ahead and take a guess with 5. So 3 times 5 is 15, and 24 minus 15 is 9. So therefore, since 9 is bigger than 3, we have to take another guess. Now, if you take a look at your multiples, we know it has to be bigger than 7 because 21 is what you see. So let's take a guess at 8. 3 times 8 is 24. 24 minus 24 gives me 0. So 8 is your answer. Now let's take a look at example 2. What is 48 divided by 8? Write down the multiples of 8. We've already written it down. We have 8 and 48 on the screen. So as you can see, we have a multiple of 48 on the screen. So therefore, that must be your answer. And now let's verify. So if we take a look at 4, there is no multiple of 8 into 4. So now we have to take a look at 48. So we take it with 6, and then 8 times 6 is 48. 48 minus 48 is 0. So your answer is 6. Now let's take a look at example 3. What is 68 divided by 9? So let's go ahead and write the multiples of the divisor. And there we go. Let's do step 2, 3, and 4 now. So now we're going to take a look at the multiples on the screen. 63 is close to 68. Now let's go ahead and use that number. Let's use 7. Before we do that, we have to let's do the first step of shorthand. We have to look at 6. Since there's no multiples of 6 by 9, therefore we have to take a look at 68. Now we can take a look at 7. So 9 times 7 is 63. So we do 68 minus 63, which is 5. And since 5 is less than 9, it is the remainder. And my final answer is 7, remainder 5. Take a look at example 4, which is what is 87 divided by 6. Write down the multiples of your divisor. Now, steps 2, 3, and 4 now. And then now I'm going to do step 5. Okay, first things first, we're going to take a look at 8. Since 8 is bigger than 6, we can just write down 1 as part of the quotient. So 6 times 1 is 6. 8 minus 6 is 2. So 2 is your remainder of the first part. So we're going to put the 2 next to the 7. And now we're going to look at 27. So now we need to take a look at your multiples on the left side. Which one's closest that is not over 27? 24. But before, if you didn't realize that was the case and you guessed 3, let's see what happens. 6 times 3 is 18. 27 minus 18 is 9. So 9 is bigger than 6. No big deal. That means you just have to take another guess. As we know, it has to be 4. So 6 times 4 is 24. So 27 minus 24 is 3. And since 3 is less than 6, it is the remainder. And there we go. And your final answer is 14, remainder 3. Now let's take a look at the last example. What is 57 divided by 4? Write down the multiples. Steps 2 and 3 and 4 right now. And then step 5, find your quotient. So once again, we're going to take a look at the first number, and then I'm going to take a look at 5, and we're going to see how many multiples of 4 go into 5. And now we know it has to be 1. So 4 times 1 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. And that is your remainder for the first part. Now we put the remainder next to the 7. And now we only have to worry about 17. And since 17 is, now we take a look at the multiples, and the closest one is 16. So we know it's 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. 17 minus 6 is 1. Since there's nothing else, we know we know that 1 is less than 4. It is the remainder. So we put it up there, and your final answer is 14, remainder 1. Now it is your turn. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video because I'm going to show the answers in 3 seconds, so you can take your time answering these 5 examples. So 3, 2, and 1. Here are the answers. If you got them correct, well done. If you didn't, there is always tomorrow.